What's up, guys? Welcome to episode 25 of the Cinematic Boys podcast. Of course, it's me and Bilal today. Sammy couldn't make it, but of course, we got a special guest. Brandon is back for another episode. What's up, Brandon?
Not much. I'm doing good. How are you guys doing? I don't
I'm
have a
doing
hat,
good.
so
How,
I can't join you in the cowboy hat
oh yeah,
craze, unfortunately. So
yeah. Howdy y'all. How y'all doing? How's life been?
you're Canadian enough.
yeah, you.
I was over that Texas look. That there word. Never mind. I
There's
was
other parts of the South other than Texas.
Yes, you
Oklahoma.
know,
Oklahoma,
more
Yes,
than
where this
Oklahoma,
movie takes
Texas.
place.
Mississippi.
Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi, parts of Florida, Georgia, the Carolinas, Kentucky, Tennessee. That's all the South.
Okay, I don't know my American geography. My bad, y'all.
All
But
country
guys,
bumpkins.
true. And I'm one of them.
y'all go cut this part out, right? Like,
Oh no, we're leaving. Bilal, I told you literally, I'm from the South, and you're like,
Oh,
you
you're
didn't
from
even know.
Texas?
wait, North Carolina's in the South.
Oh my God.
Both
He just said
Carolinas are the South, yes.
He just said
Oh.
both Carolinas.
Oh,
But
okay, I'm embarrassed myself. Okay, let's continue. All right.
but guys, if you don't know what we're gonna be reviewing this week, of course you probably will after you've seen the thumbnail. If you guys are watching the video, we are going to be reviewing Twister and Twisters, the two Storm movies that came out 28 years apart from each other. But of course, let's get right into it, guys. What have you watched this week? I'm gonna let Brandon go first, where he hasn't.
Watch this week. Hold on, let me pull my Letterboxd up. What have I watched this week? So so in the past week, I watched Adaptation, the movie with Nicolas Cage. That was my movie club assignment last week. Really good movie. I liked it a lot. Then after that, I watched Twister to prep for Twisters, which I watched the same day. And yesterday, I watched Oddity, a new horror movie that just came out this weekend.
Is that good?
Yes, it is good. I liked it. It's very atmospheric. If I wouldn't compare it to Long Legs, but just in the vein of creating a good atmosphere, it's kind of like that. Then this morning I watched a Netflix docu-series called Ashley Madison: Sex, Lies, and Scandal. Have you heard of that?
No.
It's about the dating website Ashley Madison, which, if you're not familiar, was a dating website for married people so they can have affairs.
Okay, I
Yeah.
remember about that website now.
Yeah, and then it got hacked. There was a major leak with all the users' info, and then it just started. It's raining really hard by me, so if I lose my power, I apologize in advance. But and then just before this podcast, I watched a documentary on Netflix called Skywalker's a Love Story, and I just put out my review before. Fantastic documentary. I loved it.
For some reason, when I think of that, I think of Star Wars for some reason.
Oh, Skywalkers? Gee, I wonder why.
Yeah. No. Before I figured it out, I'm like, why are they making a love story about Star Wars on Netflix? And I'm like, that would be so weird. I'm like, that's not what that is at all.
It's not.
But below, what have you watched this week?
Movie wise, I've been slacking. I literally seen 2 movies, Twisters, but I've been bitching Cobra Kai season 6 right now.
I'm not caught up. Don't say anything.
I'm gonna say anything. Obviously, I finished catching up The Boys season 4, which it's alright season so far. Ain't the best. The finale was fire though. I might say the finale was great, but other than that, it's sort of falling off. I'm glad they're ending get season 5. I think season 5 is good, no dated. And then I rewatched The Bear again because it's such a good show, dude. And then that's it. Maybe wise I'm struggling right now.
So I'm the same boat as you, below. I've only watched Twister and Twisters.
Oh, thank God, I'm not the only one.
I've been doing a lot of stuff for like with the family and stuff, so that's why I haven't been caught up on watching movies.
Yeah.
But let's get right into it, guys. Let's get into our reviews for today. Let's talk about the first Twister movie that was released in 1996, starring Helen Hunt, Bill Paxton. Oh, who else?
Philip Seymour Hoffman,
Yes, there we go. Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Alan Ruck,
Carrie Elways is in this. I didn't even
Carrie
know
Elwes
that.
is in it.
But let's get right into it. Brandon, what are your thoughts? Okay, first of all, is this a rewatch for Twister for you guys, or is this your first time watching this?
First time, like technically from start to finish. I saw bits and pieces of it when I was a kid, and I remembered a lot about that movie, but I never watched it from start to finish.
What about for you, Below?
It was a first time watch. I mean, I had to watch it to get sort of an idea how Twisters was going to be. Even though I feel like Twisters and Twister is a different like vibe. There's some similarities that I find, but yeah, first time watch.
But Brandon, I'm gonna let you go first. What are your thoughts on Twister?
I think Twisters is I think it's a fine movie. I can understand why people love it, but I didn't think it was like amazing or anything like that. I thought it was just good. I gave it a 6 out of 10.
Below,
Um,
what are your thoughts on Twister?
I really enjoyed the first Twister movie. It's not ending groundbreaking, but entertainment wise, I give it like 8 out of 10. Yeah, I mean, I like how the tornado looks. Like all the tornadoes look for 1996 is spectacular. The CGI for the most part is really great. I like Bill Paxton and Helen. What's her name again?
Helen
Helen
Hunt.
Hunt.
Helen Hunt's chemistry in this movie. I think my only issue is with this movie is like a weird love triangle thing they were trying to go with. I felt like that was a little iffy and they really needed to be in the film, but it brought a little bit of comedy in there.
So for me, I'm a really big fan of Twister. If you guys have seen my Letterboxd review, I gave this a 5 out of 5. So for me, I watched this since I was a little kid. This is your childhood movie for me. I watched this on VHS. My parents owned the VHS, and me and my little brother would rewatch it all the time. So this movie has been stuck in my head, and on the rewatches, like I could pick everything out of this movie. I could describe the movie from beginning to end to you if somebody hasn't watched this and didn't want to watch this movie. This movie is such a good time, and I think it was just such a great job of what they did for 1996 because there was not a lot of storm movies in 1996. Like there was a lot of volcano movies and stuff like Dante's Peak and that stuff, but there was not a true traditional storm movie. And this was like the first one that really got like kickstarted into the theatrical for storm movies. But that's about it. So I want to get into some parts in this movie real quick. So, what is your guys' favorite part of Twister?
Uh-oh.
That's a good question. I feel like my favorite part of Twister was the scene where the character's truck, well, I think Bill Paxton's character's truck, no, it's Helen Hunt's character's truck flies away, and they're like, "Hey, where did the truck go?" And this little lands in front of our crew. I thought that was a hilarious scene. And they're like, "Oh, this is a nice truck for the red truck." And then I feel like it was good comedy relief, had good character moments in that little tiny scene that they impact in there. If I'm making sense.
Brian, what is your favorite moment from Twister?
From Twister, I think I mean obviously the storm chasing scenes are really I agree with Bilal. I thought they were really well done for the time because yeah, by the standards of today the CGI isn't very good, but they still were really intense, especially the last one because you actually feel like the characters were in danger. So definitely any moment when they were actually chasing a tornado was the best part for me.
So for me, my favorite moment in this is I love this moment. I remember this moment since I was a little kid. It's the cow scene when the cows are flying around in front
And
of
the
them.
cow just flies in front.
Yeah.
She's like, "There's a cow just went right in front of us. I think it's another cow. It might be the same cow.
Yeah, and I think Bill Paxton says, like, I think that was the same cow.
Yeah,
Because I love it. She's like, on the phone, she's like, we got cows. I'm
Yeah.
like,
yeah, I like that scene a lot. Another thing I do appreciate is like the dinner scene, sort of the middle ground of the film. I want to say, seeing all the characters just bonding together when they're like
Mhm.
go to Bill's, and I think that was a nice little touch to Twister. Like, I like those character moments. I know the chases are fantastic, but those character moments do hit deeply, especially how well they're written in Twister.
just before we get into my next thing, I want to ask you guys: do you think the beginning of this movie is a really good beginning to it?
Of Twister?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I think so. It adds like intensity right off the bat. You see a dad flying away, showcasing how dangerous tornadoes really are. So it's a great opening. It showcases that really well. I think it's a great opening.
So, fun fact about that: I just learned this a couple of days ago. Steven Spielberg pitched the idea of the dad dying. The original idea was for the dad to stay alive, and Steven Spielberg thought it was a great idea to kill him off because it shows more, I think, of the trauma
Mhm.
of what Helen Hunt's character has when she gets older. And I just wanted to throw that in there real quick.
You're muted.
He's doing something real quick. But
Oh.
Brandon, so I told you, asked you already, what is your favorite moment in this movie? What do you think the best moment overall is from this movie?
In Twister?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably the ending, because I thought it was a great way to. Oh, he's going up the stairs. um, yeah, just the ending for sure, because I thought it was a great conclusion and it was really intense, and I thought like we were gonna see a lot more fatalities during that entire sequence. So yeah, definitely the ending for me.
I think my favorite moment is probably the ending, but I think what really hits it is um Jonah's death,
Yeah, yeah.
because even though they don't like each other because he stole technically the idea of Dorothy from them,
Hmm.
it's like he still worked with them and he's still a human being, and they're telling him you're going the wrong way. And he just don't care. He just don't like them anymore. And it costs his life because he wants to get what he wants.
Yeah.
Bilal, what do you think is the best moment from Twisters, if you can hear us?
Best moment from Twisters?
Yeah.
From Twister.
Yeah,
Twister.
no, from Twister, not Twisters.
Best moment from Twister. I have heard this the movie theater scene. When they're playing The Shining and the tornado comes out of nowhere.
Oh, that, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
I was thinking about that.
I just remembered, actually, the scene when they drive through the house. That was pretty awesome.
I actually like that scene. I think another scene that's really good is after the aftermath from not only the theater, but her aunt's town. Because once you go through there, you
Hmm.
see all the disaster of what the tornado left.
Yeah.
Because I think that's what's really good, because storm movies nowadays don't show the aftermath of something. And I think that
Hmm.
was a really good idea of what they did. And the actors said they were shocked how perfect the production team got, because they built the whole city up and they saw the whole city before they destroyed it. And once they done the scene there, we're actually shocked of how perfect they destroyed that city to make it look like that tornado went through there.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But is there any other moments you guys want to talk about from this movie?
I guess I could talk about what I didn't quite like about it.
Yeah, you can go with that.
So, to me, because I think this is something Twister's improved on. In Twister, there's not really any like characterization, and to me it felt like the characters didn't really have any real motivation. They were just chasing the tornadoes to chase them and study them. It didn't really go any deeper than that. And I honestly don't remember many of the characters' names. I just remember Bill Paxton's character's name is Bill because they share the same name. What was Helen Hunt's character? Joe?
Oh, yeah,
Joe.
it was Joe.
Yeah, and that's all I really remember. Like, I don't remember Philip Seymour Hoffman's character's name.
Dusty.
Oh, what's his name? His
Dusty.
name's funny.
Dusty.
Yeah, it was
Dusty?
Dusty. Yeah, it was Dusty.
I
Dust,
thought
I don't.
I
don't
thought he
remember.
was. Those are literally the only three characters I remember from the film.
Then of course Jonas was Carrie Elways.
Mhm.
I didn't really care about his wife, man. Like, I care about
His fiance.
His fiance.
Fiance, my bad. Fiance. I thought she was kind of annoying. Oh, phone call. Oh, I can't answer the phone right now. Like, it was getting repetitive every time she did that, and I started getting annoyed about it. And then I'm like, Joe is such a better character. So I felt like it was predictable when, well, in the movie, oh, Bill and Joe are back together. You know, like, it was kind of cliched. A little
It
bit.
is, yeah. And
Uh,
fun fact, though, Bilal, you might like the, and well, Dakota, I know you like basketball too. But Jamie Gertz, who played Bill's fiance, she's part owner of the Atlanta Hawks.
Oh, really?
I
Damn.
didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Bless you.
Thank you. I sure muted myself before sneezing. Anyways, we good.
But I think the thing I think that I like this movie's perfect. But like, if you could pick a little small thing out, if I could, it's probably. I think we didn't get enough screen time with Carrie Elways in this.
Mm-hmm.
I think
The
they could
villain seemed
elaborate.
kind of thrown in.
Yeah, I kind of feel like we should have got more story on like their relationship before, because they just brush on it real quick
Mm-hmm.
and they don't really explain it. And I think that's what Twisters does really good, because I think there's some things in that movie that explain that happened in the past really well. And I don't know if it's just where it's Lee Isaac Chung, a different director that has made that movie, or where they watched the first when they have done better on that one.
Yeah, I think Lee Isaac just knows how to make us care about characters, especially his previous work of Minari was super emotional. So I feel like he knows how to direct characters, and I think that's where Twisters has over the original Twister, because I feel like during Twisters I was caring about every character.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I felt the stakes. Like, I wanted these characters to survive in these situations that they're put in, right?
Okay, two more things, then we can go on to Twisters. The CGI for 1996 looked really great.
Yeah, I thought it looked good.
Like, now, I think they could do better with it, but it still looks amazing, though, of what they done. And two, the soundtrack's not bad for this movie. With all the 90s rock music that was in it, I think it went with the movie, and I think especially the crew really well in this movie. But let's get right to it, guys. Let's talk about the newest movie that was released this week, the standalone legacy sequel to Twisters, starring Glenn Powell, Daisy Edgar Jones, Anthony Ramos, David Cornsweet, Karen Shipka, and a whole bunch of
we talking about Andy Ramos.
And he's got to flex that Anthony Ramos liked this picture
Yeah,
on
we talking about Andy
Instagram.
Ramos.
He's like, we're buddies now. He liked my picture.
This cast is stacked. It's a lot of like upcoming actors in Hollywood. I kind of just like putting this out there real quick. I kind of like that Lee Isaac Chung, even though like Glenn Powell's like really big right now, he's still up and coming. And like Daisy Edgar Jones and Anthony Ramos have not been that much movies, and they're still trying to get their name into the business. But let's go right into it, guys. Brandon, what are your thoughts on Twisters?
I really liked it. I thought it was a great movie, and in my review of it, I mentioned how I heard a lot of people say that it was like Top Gun Maverick to Top Gun. how it was, like the original was a product of its time, and then there was a standalone, or there was a sequel years later that improved on it. I was like, that's a pretty apt comparison. I can agree with that, because I think Twister's improved on Twister in just about every conceivable way. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a really good movie.
Bilal, what are your thoughts on Twisters?
Yeah, I definitely think it gives a Top Gun Maverick vibe, especially with how much Twister improved from Twisters. But at the same time, like Glenn Powell was in Top Gun Maverick, now he's in Twisters. It's like he's in two legacy sequels that both people love. For the most part, I think I haven't heard too many people hate on Twister so far. I've been hearing like a lot of positive reviews for it. But for me, I love Twisters. I thought I had a lot of fun. It's a great summer blockbuster movie to go with a buddy or see alone. And I think this is a good dad movie too. I feel like dads will love this movie too. Like it is a dad movie. I'm not gonna lie.
No, I know what you mean. It's just a funny way of putting it, and I can agree with you.
Uh, but like Glenn Powell was charismatic as always. Disney Edgar Jones was really great. I mean, more of an emotional performance, especially with what that character goes through. And Ramos is just always great in anything I see him, and he delivers a great performance here too.
Hmm.
So for me, I really enjoyed this movie. I going into it like as a really big fan of Twister, I was thinking, can they like live up to the original and make a great sequel, especially with nobody returning from the original. This is a new story, this is a new cast, new director, and everything. And they really did. They really done well. It lived up to Twister. And I just love about everything about this movie. You got Glenn Powell, Daisy Edgar Jones, Anthony Ramos, country music. I'm a real big country music fan and live in the South, of course. So country music is a big thing here. And I think that it went along with the movie, especially with Oklahoma. But Lee Isaac Chung, I think, like Bilal said, he done some great things about making you feel the characters,
Hmm.
like he did with like Minari and them. But the shots in this movie looked phenomenal. The cinematography, the camera work, the everything looked in looked very great in this. And overall, I really enjoyed this movie.
Yeah.
But
Definitely.
going back to the original Twister, what is your guys' favorite moment from Twisters?
For Twisters,
For
like
Twisters.
Yeah, for Twisters, what's your
uh,
favorite moment? Moment.
by being spoiling this movie now.
Yeah, we're going around to spoilers.
Oh, we're going into spoilers. Oh, okay. I'll let Brendan go first.
Let me go first. Okay. I definitely think the best part of this movie of Twisters was the rodeo scene, because it was a nice moment to see Glenn Powell and Daisy Edgar Jones's characters like bonding, because they were kind of at odds at first. But then they go to the rodeo together and get to know each other, and then a tornado hits and they weren't expecting it, and what happens after is probably, in my opinion, the most intense scene of the movie, where we actually see quite a few people die because they get sucked up into the tornado, and they're forced to go into an empty pool and hang on to the pipes underneath it. I was holding my breath for that entire scene. I was like, that was so good. I wish
Especially
we
for the
got
mother
more
and little
scenes like
kid.
that. Yeah. And those people that in the motel that are like, there's no tornado outside, and then they tried to drive away and then they got sucked up into it. I'm like, well, you learned the hard way, didn't you?
Yeah. That's definitely one of my favorite scenes too. But I think my favorite scene was like every time Clint Powell is like doing his life while chasing a tornado was just hilarious. Especially the fact that they shot fireworks up the tornado's ass. I think that's how you say it. Yeah, I think that was hilarious the way they said it. I feel like the whole crew like Powell's character and that crew was like so much fun in this movie. Like they always brought the comic relief when there needed to be. I feel like this movie does a great job of balancing comedy with dramatic moments, and I think that's what a great summer blockbuster should do, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
definitely.
my favorite moment is when we first meet Tyler Owens, which, if you guys don't know, that's Glenn Powell's character. To right when I love this scene is when Anthony Ramos and them are driving towards the tornado, and he just comes out of nowhere and he about breaks them on the road. I'm
Yeah.
like, if you live in the South, you know the way that we're acting. That's how a lot of people act down here. They just come out of nowhere and just they're rowdy. They're having a good time. It's kind of like we see the two sides of like storm chasing. You got the technical side, like research and stuff. Then you got the people who just love to do this for fun.
Hmm.
And I'm actually glad about that because in the original we see both sides, even though Helen Hunt and Bill Paxton's characters are like doing studies and stuff. They're still having fun.
Yeah.
But it's like when we see Glenn Powell's character and his crew, they're not trying to catch a data or anything. They're just having a good time trying to chase tornadoes.
Yeah.
Especially like you see it. They literally go out to the field that first time. They sit in the middle of the tornado, shoot fireworks into it. The next tornado, even though it didn't ever hit them, they just drill the truck right into the ground and they're just waiting for the tornado to come through.
Hmm.
So I think it's like a thrill for them. While Anthony Ramos and them are trying to get data, and we will talk about what the data is actually being used later on for.
Yeah. But like to add that, just going a little more in depth. I feel like Glenn Powell's character after the rodeo scene has a change of heart and not becomes this wild person, tornado regular. He wants to save people, right? So I like that arc that they brought to his character. I thought that was really well put together.
Well, it was revealed he was kind of always like that, but we didn't know him, and the characters didn't know him either up until that point. Because remember, Daisy Edgar Jones makes a comment about how like you guys are just like you're just selling T-shirts, and Glenn
Yeah,
Powell gets really upset by that comment, and it's revealed like that they're selling T-shirts to raise money so they can give food to people that are devastated by the tornadoes.
yeah,
So I think he always had a good heart. We just didn't see it.
yeah.
So, what is the best moment from this movie? If you guys could pick one.
I think I gave mine. That's my personal favorite and what I thought was the best.
Okay, what about you, Bilal?
Okay. I think it has to be the opening for Twisters because
It does have a great intro.
it's a great intro. B, it adds stakes right off the bat. And C, you feel bad for the character. What's Disney Edgar Jones? A character Kate. You feel bad for Kate because she lost her crew, and you see that drama just unfold during the whole movie. And I think that opening was very great and was like, I think the best part of the film. Even
Hmm.
though rest of the movie is really solid though. Like, I don't
Yeah,
think there's not a bad scene in this movie. I think I enjoy every little second of Twisters.
I like the beginning, but one character I think they could have used more was a Carrie Shipton's character, because out of the whole group, besides Daisy Edgar Jones, she was the other one that everyone knew that was going to be in this movie, and that was like well known. And you just kill her off at the beginning of the movie. And you
Yeah,
kind of get the sense of that when you first see the trailer, because you see everybody in the trailer except her. And
hmm
I even mentioned that in my TikTok when the second trailer came out. I'm like, where is she at? But then once I saw her at the beginning of the movie, I'm like, okay, she's going to be one of the ones that is killed off.
yeah,
And I think what makes this better beginning than the first Twister is that I think it's more emotional feeling, because I think even though you get see the dad die, you get like a couple minutes with him.
yeah. But
In
hmm
this one, you see, I think it's like 15 minutes before we even get to the 5 years later, and you see the chemistry that these characters have with each other and the friendship they have. I think those deaths hit a little bit more to the audience than the first movie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Also,
for sure.
also, this is super random. Shout out to Dave Cornswet in this, man. I mean, small role, but he killed it.
Do
He
you
was
not remind you of Jonas?
a little bit. He was an asshole in this, man.
Yeah, I knew he was in this, but I honestly, when I was watching it, I forgot he was in it, and I was like, "Oh, that's Superman."
Bro, I was thinking, is that Henry Cavill?
No. To be honest with you, I'm really just like branching off this. I'm really excited to see him as Superman now, because after watching rewatching Pearl a couple of weeks ago and seeing his performance in that and seeing his performance in this, he's a really good actor.
Yeah,
Up and coming, and James Gunn, I think, got the right person to play Superman. He looks like it. He gives the aura off, and especially now where he's got in shape, you can kind of tell in this movie that he was working out during it, because looks a little bit bulked up more in this movie than his other acting roles.
Also, I didn't even know Candy O'Brien was in this.
I knew she was in this. I'm like, where's she at?
Yeah, she. And that's I've never seen her in anything. That's the second movie I've seen her in this year.
I think Love Lives Bleeding. I think Love Lives Bleeding was her first acting role ever.
Oh, was it? I thought they said she was in some other stuff, but I couldn't remember.
She was in Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania.
Oh, you're right. She was, but
was
I don't
she because
remember her.
I forget that movie. That's how much that movie is.
It's a forgettable movie. It's a bad movie. So yeah, I don't remember much about that movie.
But she was in Sweet Girl, which I haven't seen yet. But okay, whatever it is.
Sweet Girl with Jason Momoa.
Yeah, apparently, allegedly.
I didn't watch that. It's funny because I hadn't seen David Cornswet in anything ever either until Pearl, and then I just saw another movie with him a few months ago, and now he's in Twisters, and now we know he's going to be Superman.
Yeah.
Wait, have you seen The Greatest Hits yet?
No, I've been
in
debating watching that. Yeah, I knew he was in that, but I haven't watched that. I guess it didn't really pique my interest.
But like overall, so Kathy O'Brien has played in. Oh, she's gonna be in Mission Impossible 8 also. So
that's gonna.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'm excited for that.
And I'm like if you look at this upcoming this cast, what they're going to do, like Daisy Edgar Jones has some movies being released soon. Like I kind of wish she was in more roles because she's not that bad in Normal People. At first, she's really good in Where the Crawdads Sing and Fresh, and she was really good in this movie. And
she's definitely up and coming, and I think she's gonna get more roles in the future. I think she's gonna be casted. I think she's gonna be one of the bigger up and coming people soon.
And like Glenn Powell, we already know that he's really big in Hollywood right now. He's
Glenn Powell. Yeah, he's on a roll. He's on a roll. Because when I saw this movie, I called my dad and he's like, "What'd you see?" I was like, "Twisters." Like the 85th movie that Glenn Powell has been in the last year.
Yeah, but do you guys know he was in Dark Knight Rises?
Yeah,
he was one of the stock traders.
I'm gonna throw some at you guys that you probably didn't know. Do you know who's in Spy Kids 3?
Spy Kids.
Glenn Powell.
Yeah.
He
was in
after
Spy
I
Kids,
saw that,
I'm like, Spy Kids. It was his first movie ever.
But because I'm looking at his filmography right now, right? Of course, he's been Top Gun Maverick. I think that's really where he got his boost off. Anything But You, which I still need to watch. I heard it's really good. Of course, Hitman. Set It Up, Twisters. Everybody Wants Him. I heard he's really good in that also.
He's really good in Everybody Wants Them.
I didn't know this until like a couple months ago. He's in the Expendables 3.
I knew that. I haven't seen any of the Expendables movies, but I did know that.
And it says not only Devotion, which was released in the same year as Top Gun Maverick, but he's also in Ride Along 2.
Yeah.
Did anyone watch Devotion?
No.
I've seen it. It was all right.
I didn't have any interest in it. It looked boring.
Not gonna lie, it was pretty boring, but Glenn Powell was great though.
I know he's been canceled now, but I'm sure Jonathan Majors was too.
Oh,
'Cause
he was.
he is talented.
Like if you look at Glenn Powell, like he has the Running Man remake with Edgar Wright, and that's supposed to be filming this fall.
Supposed to come out next year, I believe.
Yeah, then he has another movie that's releasing next year also. So this man is just it's Huntington that's supposed to be released next year.
Okay.
So he's just racking it up with movies that are supposed to be coming out soon.
Yeah, he's getting work. He's
And
very much in demand.
I want to ask you guys a real quick question. There has been rumors, and people have been looking at his following that he's supposed to be joining the DCU soon.
Glenn Powell?
And of course, David. Now, I'm thinking already David Cornsweet is following him because of the Twisters. But who plays Lois Lane? Is going to be playing her.
Rachel Brosnahan, I think is her name.
Yeah.
She's from Marvelous Miss Maisel.
But if we're talking about Glenn Powell, I feel like if he was in DC, I feel like he would play a good Hal Jordan or Booster Gold.
So not only is she's following him, James Gunn's following him also. So I'm thinking once you get James Gunn following you, you kind of are in something with James Gunn. So one could be Hal Jordan. I've been hearing Booster Gold would be also, but there's been rumors that he could be playing Bruce Wayne.
Oh yeah, now that you mention it, yeah, since James Gunn followed him, yeah, that I did see people talking about that.
And I kind of don't want it because, first of all, he's getting a lot of roles. I kind of want to see his dynamic of his acting ability.
Mm-hmm.
But if he's stuck with the DCU, it's going to be years if he's a certain character. And I don't want him to be stuck kind of like a Robert Downey Jr. or Chris Evans.
I mean, there's Chris Hemsworth who was Thor for like a decade, but he still got a lot of roles outside the MCU. There's Florence Pugh who is like in everything, but she's still part of the MCU. So there's some people that
but Bilal, you gotta think it's Kevin Feige and James Gunn. James Gunn could do a whole different thing than what Kevin Feige's doing over at Marvel.
I mean, James Gunn probably would space as projects for actors to be in other things, though, because I feel like James Gunn is more respectful towards his actors over Kevin Feige.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think they'll get them stuck in one area. I feel like James Gunn will let them be diverse with their roles.
So speaking of more about Twisters, because I know you guys gave not full 5 ratings. I think Brandon, you gave it a 4, didn't you? Right?
I did, yeah.
And Bilal gave it 4.5. I saw. What are some of the things that you guys made it like you rank like kind of like you a 4 and 4.5? What was the things that brought the score down from a 5?
For me, I thought the villain or the person who was kind of revealed to be the villain, I don't even remember his name honestly, but the guy who was investing in Anthony Ramos's company who turned out to be shady. We didn't really know a lot about him. We only knew that he was buying the land after it was devastated by a tornado so he could turn it into whatever he wanted. And we didn't really know a whole lot about that. It never dived much deeper into that, and I thought that could have been interesting, but we didn't really know anything other than just what was mentioned. It was just explored on a surface level, nothing more.
I think it's the exact same reason, because I feel like if you have more development on that character and use some storylines on him to make the reveal like more shocking, but
Mm-hmm.
but I kind of wish we got like a little bit more scenes of the first crew a little bit before they get terminated. But I think that's it. It's still a 9 out of 10. It's like terminated. Do you like that?
I was laughing at your use of the word terminated. I was just like, oh, interesting. They were terminated
by the tornado. That's a new term I never thought of.
Yeah, like
Thank you, Paul.
someone dies in a tornado. Like, where are they? Like, they were terminated. Like, oh, they were just fired from their job. Like, no, they're dead.
But is there anything you guys want to talk more about Twisters?
Well, I mean, I just looked at my notes. Just in terms of complaints, like what other, I did think that the pacing at the beginning was kind of quick. Because when it cuts to 5 years later after the intro, which I will add was amazing, I thought that the intro was fantastic and it set up the rest of the movie very well. Just it cuts to 5 years later, and um, you know, Daisy Edgar Jones gave it up, and that's really all we know. She's like, no, that's not me. And it just felt very cliched. Like, no, I'm not about that life anymore. Not since the tragedy. And then Anthony Ramos is like, I need your help to come back. And she's like, I don't want to. And then she comes back, and that's kind of what happened in Twister. But it was in Twister, I think it was worse because Bill Paxton just comes for. Why did? Oh yeah, to sign the divorce papers. That's why.
Yeah,
That's why he
Oh
went to
yeah.
go see Helen Hunt in the first place, so their divorce or something could be finalized. And then he just gets involved with chasing tornadoes again, and then they reconcile. I was like, this is so cheesy, but yeah, that. And also in Twisters, I did notice, this is kind of a smaller thing, but I noticed quite a few moments where Daisy Edgar Jones's accent slipped through because she's British and she was talking like an American. I don't
yeah.
know if
I
you
mean,
guys noticed that too, but I did notice quite a few times where that happened.
I never really noticed it. I never just logged into her performance and noticed like their little nitpicks because I thought she did a great job. But I think my complaint was in that 5 years, I wish we saw more of her grieving her loss of friends a tiny bit more, you know?
What did you broke up a little bit? What was your point?
I was going to say, I wish we had more scenes of her grieving, where like about her losing her friends, because that's like a traumatic moment, and
Yeah.
I feel like a couple
Yeah.
more scenes with that to get us more hooked to her character a bit more of Kate. Because like Kate is a great character, but like I feel like she could be like an excellent character. You know, those like small nitpicks, right?
Yeah, I can agree with that. Because but I do think it did a good job with establishing their relationship at the beginning, so you know that they were all really close. But yeah, like the grieving process probably could have been something that they touched on a little bit more. And also, did you? I've seen a lot of people talk about this now. Did you guys like how the movie ended?
Okay, I'm going to throw something about that. That's another question. Do you think they could make a sequel?
I don't want one.
I mean, they
Do you?
could, but should they?
Okay, this is where I'm gonna go with it. Speaking of two gun power movies, Top Gun Maverick is a perfect ending,
Yes. We don't need another
and
Top Gun.
and of course they have said, and it's going to be in production soon, that they're already making Top Gun 3, which I think is not good because you ended the story of Maverick and Rooster and Hangman all together. But this one kind of sets up like there could be more stories with this team. Because the first one kind of ended like on a positive note that there could not be anything else. But this one kind of shows like there could be more of like, because they kind of leave the open ending of like, even though they kind of like each other, they could expand on that. I kind of want to see Anthony Ramos, like what his team can do with Tyler in them, because the only time we see him help Tyler is right at the very end, and we don't see the full potential of like, because he has those scanners and everything that he's been using, and he could use that to help Tyler. And now that they know that they can stop a tornado with
Mhm.
all those chemicals, I kind of want to see what they could do with that. And kind of like, you know how this is set up in Oklahoma, kind of like do different things like in Texas, because of course Tornado Alley goes through like 3 or 4 states.
It's yeah, like a bunch of the Midwest, like so all those flat states where there's really nothing. That's where tornadoes mostly hit.
But like, I don't know how to go like improve, like do something bigger with the tornadoes though. Like, I feel like Twisters was pretty big for what it did for Ed, so that's why I don't want a sequel. Like Twister and Twisters, like, oh, you could easily top that, but like, are they able to top Twisters with another film? I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like it's not like it's dead and it's run its course. I just like how much further could you take it? Like what
Yeah,
more
exactly.
could you do? Unless you're gonna be like ridiculously stupid, like what Fast and Furious has done to their movies. If you make it like that, then you're gonna have endless possibilities. But I mean, Twisters is more grounded in realism, and I feel like if it got too ridiculous, then it would just lose its appeal.
Yeah, I mean, like Twizzlers has some ridiculous moments, but
Oh yeah, 100%. But
it still works though. It's still
it's not.
grounded.
Yeah, but it's not ridiculous from start to finish. It is still like real.
Yeah.
But I kind of, except like going to a franchise, kind of like just doing one more movie and that's it, kind of like a trilogy.
If the story is right, I'll say go for it. But if the story isn't there, just don't do it. That's
because
my mindset.
because like the only thing I could think of is like there's just like one tornado that is like kind of like, of course like there's a F5, but if there's like a tornado that's just like super very powerful and they can see how they can stop it besides the F5, that'll be interesting.
Mm-hmm. But I meant more in terms of the ending, because I don't know if you guys saw it, but I guess they did film a kiss scene between Glenn Powell and Daisy Edgar Jones at the airport.
Yeah.
And obviously that was cut. Do you guys think that would have been like necessary to include that?
Necessary, kind of like what I said. I think it will be necessary if you want to tie a bow on the story.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, because like everyone was looking at each other up, and I'm like, especially when I looked at my parents, I'm like, they kind of said like they could be because we always talk about this, if they leave like an open ending, kind of like a perfect example, like Transformers Age of Extinction. Remember how they left it open ended that Optimus Prime was going to space to get
I think
Quintessa in them?
so. I haven't seen that movie in so long. I'd like to forget that movie. So
Me too, but it's like that image is always stuck in my head. So it was like it left it open ended, like you knew there was a sequel. And it's kind of like that, because I think if they had the kiss, it's like, okay, you got everything that you wanted in this movie. Everything tied a bow on the perfect. But I think it's because, of course, Warner Brothers is like one of the biggest companies of let's make more movies, right?
oh yeah.
And of course, I bet you it was a company that did the decision, be like, let's leave that scene in there and take that scene out, just in case if this movie makes money, so we can make another one.
Yeah, I could see that, because but yeah, I've just seen a lot of people freaking out about it, saying like, why did they cut this? This would have been perfect. Why
Oh,
is
I
there
have
no
to.
why is there like no intimacy in movies anymore, which I can like
Every girl on
somewhat agree with.
TikTok, I've seen every girl on TikTok. They didn't kiss. They didn't kiss. I'm like,
I've seen it more on Twitter, but yeah, and I've seen so many great memes though about this movie on TikTok. I just saw one like about like me. It was like a girl driving. It's like me going to chase some storms in rural Oklahoma, even though it's sunny and I live in Maryland. And I was like, oh, this is gonna be fun. But yeah, I was curious what you guys thought about that, because I know they cut that, and I even saw it was Tyler Whitmore. He said it's fine that they cut it, because those two characters gave off the vibe like they were co-workers rather than love interests.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know if I agree with that, because why would you, drop everything to follow a girl to back to where she came from if you just see her as a
Yeah,
co-worker?
exactly.
and especially like the ending, because if you didn't like her, you would not have like literally drilled your truck into the ground so they could
Yeah.
move it and run back into the airport.
Yeah, and I personally I didn't like the decision for Glenn Powell to follow her because I was like, dude, you have your crew. Like, you're just gonna leave them behind for this girl? Like that was another thing I didn't quite like.
The scene I love when they reconnect is his best friend. He's like, "You betrayed me." He's like, "How? I don't know if I can forgive you." He's like, "I got something you can give for, like you could probably forgive me for." He's like, "What? I got rockets." Like, okay.
I thought you were going to talk about the scene when she stops the tornado and everyone goes to see her and everyone's like, that was amazing, like that was so cool, and then Brandon Perea's character is like, I think I love you.
Yes, I saw that too. I started laughing. Or did you guys stay for like the whole credits part of like when they were showing the pictures and stuff?
Yeah, when they showed the pictures.
I love it. It's like
I did dip.
Oh no, Bilal, you gonna love this. It's when Ben is like shooting because they show a little bit, I think, afterwards, but they could elaborate on that more. It's when they ask Kate, "Do you want a face on your shirt?" And Glenn Powell, it'd probably be sometimes for that, but Brendan Pereira's character is like, "I will wear a shirt with her face on it."
I think the scene that made me laugh the most is when she's at the motel and Glenn Powell knocks on the door and gives her something and she takes it and she just closes the door.
I love that. Then she opens it, he's just still standing there.
He's kind of just standing there waiting for her to say something and she's like, okay, bye. And he's still standing there.
But besides that, okay, so I know, Bilal, you're from Canada. Brandon, you live out west.
Mm-hmm.
How did you guys feel about the soundtrack?
It's fitting because it's very country-esque, so I understand. I'm not a big country guy. I grew up listening to a lot of country music because my mom liked it, and I kind of started to like it too. But now I don't really listen to country all that much. But it's definitely fitting. I don't hate country music, but it definitely fits the movie for sure.
I agree with it. With Brendan here. I don't listen to country, but like when country's on, I'll listen to it because why not? It isn't terrible music. It's not Taylor Swift, you know.
There you
Taylor
go,
Swift
just got canceled.
Taylor Swift isn't country anymore, though.
Yeah, I mean that's true, but like still trash music though.
No, Jesus.
Just got canceled. Yeah,
I would sleep with one eye open whenever this is released, Bilal, because you
you just got like 100, no, over millions of people just like having a target on you now.
Seriously, people are going to try to ruin your life now.
Good. Let them
good.
Good.
Let them come.
Speaking of Anthony Ramos, another great movie, Transformers: Rise of the Beast.
I wouldn't say that movie's great, but I liked it.
Okay, it's good, not great, but good.
Yeah, it's better than
we talk Andy Ramos, right?
No.
Jesus Christ! Transformers: Rise of the Beast, I'll give it one. It's better than Age of Extinction and The Last Night. Those movies are garbage.
I can't agree with you on that.
Those movies are terrible.
I love Andy Ramos.
Oh, sweet Jesus. But guys, I love the soundtrack for it so much. Okay, I was jamming to the soundtrack before it was released. The movie was released. That's how much I love this. I've been jamming to more out now afterwards. And today I stopped by Walmart. And even though I must don't got a CD player, I still got the CD.
Oh, nice.
Luke
Combs' song is really good, man.
Yes, Luke Combs. Yes,
Luke Combs.
Yes, I love that song.
Are the songs original? Like, were they made for the
They're
soundtrack?
all
they
original.
Are. Okay, yeah, because I wasn't sure if these were pre-existing songs or if they were made specifically for the movie.
The only one that's made before, of course, is the cover is Ghost Rider in the Sky. That's the only one.
Because what was that one? No Love in Oklahoma? Is that what it was called?
Yeah, by Luke Combs.
Oh, that's a Luke Combs song. Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
See that, I don't want to be I don't want to sound like a hater, but so many of these country artists now just all sound the same. I cannot tell you who is who when they're singing.
because it kind of disappoints me because there's like, especially with that one, because they have put so much with this song. Like the second trailer has the song in it. That's the
Mhm.
first song that's released. It's blaring all over TikTok. So I'm like, I thought this would be like an in credit song or something. No, it's just like 5 seconds when he first is introduced.
Mm,
Bro,
yeah.
who else is in the soundtrack? Do you know?
So you got Luke Combs, Miranda Lambert, Thomas Rhett, Lainey
Morgan Wallen?
Wilson. Morgan Wallen's not included in this. That's
Oh,
the only country music artist that I don't see in this.
well,
Morgan Wallen. That's crazy because he's the biggest one right now, probably.
yeah, that's just shocking, bro.
Kane Brown, Jelly Rolls in this.
Jelly Roll.
What's Jelly Roll?
Jelly Roll's. He's like a country rapper, isn't he?
Yeah. If you want to talk about going old country, Shania Twain's in this.
Shania had a song. Oh
Yeah.
wow.
But
I
is
didn't
that
know
mostly?
Shania.
Yeah, I didn't know that either until I saw the soundtrack. I'm like,
That's crazy. Yeah.
but is that mostly it for you guys for Twisters?
I think I got all my thoughts out about it.
I think so too.
Yeah, most of me too. The only thing I love is like how they reconciled like the theater thing, like how the first one was a drive-in, and this one let's just put them all in the theater.
Oh yeah.
And let's play Frankenstein.
Yeah, but I also like the fact that it brought back Dorothy in this one too.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that connects the two. That's the only thing that
That's pretty
connects
much
the two
it.
movies.
And the movie theater scene. Come on.
So a little bit Easter egg. I learned this on TikTok. Dorothy is the machine, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you realize what the panels' names were?
Panels?
Yeah, the panels that Anthony Ramos had.
Oh no. Were they
Scarecrow, Tin Man, Lion. It's all Wizard of Oz.
Oh, the panel, like when they lay the three out around it.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess I wasn't really paying attention to that.
And of course, the original I think was set in Kansas, where Dorothy was from. The dog's name in the first one was Toby, connection to Toto, and it was the same type of dog. So they threw so many of Wizard of Oz like Easter eggs in these movies for some reason.
I remember the dog in the first the dog in the first movie's name, the ant, whose name was Mose. So I wonder if that was like an Easter egg in any way.
I don't know. But is that mostly it for you guys?
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
I think I've got all my thoughts out.
So guys, with that being said, like I said before, we don't mostly got any movie news, and of course no trailers have dropped since we done our last episode. So when you guys, but first of all, before we go into it, thank you, Brandon, for joining us again for another episode.
Mm-hmm. Anytime. Thank you for having me.
And if you guys haven't yet, go follow Brandon's social medias. All his social medias are the same username, right?
It's the actually no, like that'll be my username on TikTok and YouTube. Twitter, it's BR Marotta right there with an underscore at the end, and that is also the same on Letterboxd but without the underscore.
Okay. And what's your Instagram if anyone want your Instagram?
I mean, it's my personal Instagram.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
So guys, when you hear me and Bilal next time, it will be for our Cinematic Boys review of Aliens.
Aliens.
And we're gonna have a special guest on that one. What?
Brandon, you want to join for that one?
For Alien, I'd have to maybe I'd have if I'm not busy, but I'd have to watch Aliens because I've seen Alien, but it's been a long time, and I got to rewatch it, and I haven't seen Aliens actually, so.
And
Okay.
so Brandon might be the guest on there, but we also got another guest that's going to be on the Aliens episode also. That's going to be on there. But next week's episode, we are going to be talking about the only superhero movie and Marvel movie that is releasing this year, Deadpool and Wolverine.
Superman?
No, Deadpool and Wolverine, not Superman. Superman's next year.
Oh.
You don't need you don't need back-to-back weeks of David Cornsweet.
They're filming Superman right now, so
I forgot about Venom 3. Venom 3 is just like under the radar. Not even under the radar. Sony Spider-Man movies are just like not in my mind right now because that movie and Kraven's supposed to be released this year. But the only MCU movie though.
Didn't Kraven get like delayed to next year?
Nope.
No, that was December. Last year. Because it was supposed to come out last year and it got delayed to this year.
Because it was supposed to be released in August.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's released in December.
First of all, where's the Russian accent? Aaron Taylor Johnson, like you're an actor, you can learn a Russian accent for this role. Come on, man. Not committed, bro.
It's probably a Russian accent is actually pretty easy if you think about it.
You should play Kraven, bro. That's perfect.
That was actually pretty damn good. But next week we're gonna be doing for episode 26. We're gonna be reviewing Deadpool and Wolverine. Sammy should be back for that episode, and I'm gonna try to see if we can get a special guest on here for the episode 2. But guys, with that being said, if you guys are listening on the audio version on Spotify and Apple, hit the follow button and give us a rating. And if you guys are watching the video version, hit the like button. And of course, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell notification. Okay, you guys when we're posting our podcast episodes and our review episodes. So guys, with that being said, I hope you guys have a great day and I'll see you guys next time.
Oh, MBK out, yeah.